here likes Halo, or liked it back when they were making games and they weren't doing whatever they've been doing for the last 5 years. If you like Halo, I have some exciting news. Thrilling, shocking, even. Rebs Gaming, video game reporter. I report breaking news, produce exclusive video reports, and share footage of new gaming content. He made a post on December 23rd and linked to a video that he put together. Halo Studios just hired Angela Hession, maybe? I'm not sure. Chief of Staff, former Microsoft COO, or Chief Operations Officer is what that stands for, and founded an AI enablement firm. AI enablement. I didn't know you could do that, but apparently you can. Also, I previously reported that Halo Studios is using generative AI in game development. To prove this, I've gathered all the information, including my conversation with and screenshots from a developer. I explain everything in my new video. So I pulled up this new video. Again, Rebs Gaming is the source. Get your booty over here. Hit this button and give it a like. I want to see how it breaks down, because we need more reporting like this in the industry. Let's see what they've got to say. What's going on?
Is Rebs and go Birds. In September, only a month before the campaign evolved reveal.
Never mind, he's an Eagles fan. Never mind, different video. I'm kidding.
Halo Studios' former chief of staff, Melissa Boone, left the studio. Her replacement was just confirmed, and their background includes artificial intelligence enablement. In a previous report, I revealed that, according to a source, Halo Studios is implementing AI in all areas of development. My report gained a lot of attention. Even Rolling Stone's magazine questioned Halo Studios about my report. Yes, your boy Rebs made into Rolling Stone's magazine, no big deal. But anyway, in this video report, I'm going to reveal Halo Studios' new chief of staff and review evidence of Halo Studios using AI to develop games, including what I was told and shown by someone who worked with them. A few days ago, Angela Hession announced that she joined Halo Studios as their new chief of staff. Previously, Angela worked at Microsoft for 11 years, which included her roles as Global Head of Gaming Safety and Trust and the Strategy and Operations Director.
Co-led development of Project Artemis, an industry-first anti-grooming detection something partnership with Thorn and global enforcement stakeholders. So they built a tool to detect grooming. That's crazy. I mean, I'm glad. That's good. Roblox, are you paying attention? Paying attention? I've heard Roblox could use something like this. Anyway.
She also worked at Twitch for over 3 years as their Chief Customer Trust Officer.
Okay, well, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's good people that work at Twitch, but I will say the overall Twitch experience has left me fairly jaded, let's just say.
So she has very legitimate experience. But here's where things get interesting. She is the founder of Hession Consulting AI, an AI enablement firm that helps technology, gaming, and commerce corporations integrate AI-driven strategy. This is interesting because Microsoft is heavily investing in AI, and I reported that Halo Studios is weaving AI into all areas of game development. If I had to guess, Angela's experience with AI enablement played a big role in why she was hired. To support this claim and my previous report, I'm going to review all of the evidence of Halo Studios using AI, starting with a senior AI engineer job listing that they posted last year. It states, design and implement scalable and efficient solutions that leverage generative AI and machine learning to augment in-game experiences and to improve how we make games.
Now listen here. A lot of the AI in game development debate, I feel, is like wasted discussing and talking past each other, because so often people will debate, be like, AI is terrible, but they're not specific as to what they actually mean, because AI is such a broad term. It can mean like 50,000 different things, right? What most people, I think, mean is they mean generative AI. They mean using something like DALL-E to make the concept art, or they mean using OpenAI to write character dialogue. Like, that's what they mean. They don't like that. But I don't think they have a problem with like using AI tools to organize feedback from playtests. Like, I don't think they have a problem with that AI, you know? So I think you have to be more specific with what's being described, just in general. I do think that at this point, it's clear that what Microsoft is doing with Halo Studios is they are trying to specifically use generative AI throughout the entire dev process. So the whole scandal that happened with Expedition 33, where they had when they were building the game, they used AI to make like a little poster that they put on one of the poles in the game. That poster was accidentally left in the game because they did a whole pass through the whole game where they tried to take out all of the placeholders and placeholder textures, but they missed one. And it was this poster on a pole. They missed it, and then they patched it out like a couple days after launch. That is why they were disqualified from the Indie Game of the Year awards, because they said they didn't use any AI in the game, but because they used that disqualified them. But that's what like they used it for. They were using it to create placeholder textures until they made the final one and put it in the game by hand. Maybe that's what they're doing too, is they're using AI to do placeholder textures or something. I'm kind of skeptical. I'm guessing that they're going to do something more aggressive, but I do think that this is just part of a broader push to normalize it, and this is their attempt to do it with like a big IP. And I think every other big company is going to do this. So a lot of these companies that have like billions of dollars at stake and invested in AI, like a Microsoft, or even Sony's invested a ton into AI in their corporate side of things. Of course, Epic Games and all those guys. What they're going to do is they're going to try to use AI and desensitize people to it through, in generative AI, through big releases that make it normal. Because it's not just about like people like you or me. It's about the quote unquote normies, the casual gamers who are going into like, they go on Amazon and sort by new releases and they buy their games through Amazon, or they just go to the PlayStation Store or Steam dashboard and buy it through there. Those types of people that are more casual, that aren't watching a stream like this or videos like this, they're the ones that they're going to try to appeal to with this type of thing, and just normalize it. So I think that it's, Microsoft is they're not going to stop anytime soon.
This directly confirms generative AI is being used to create in-game experiences and improve development for new Halo games. Also, there are 2 new job listings that revolve around AI innovation for game development. The Microsoft Applied Scientist 2 job listing states, you will have the chance to work on artificial intelligence and machine learning projects, and deliver solutions that will change the way we develop games and entertainment services. And you will be working with major franchises that include Halo. The other job listing prints with major...
To be clear, Halo, Forza, Gears of War, Microsoft Casual Suite, literal casuals. But they are saying that these like AI engineers are going to be working on all of those projects. So all of them are going to be using these tools.
Franchises that include Halo. The other job listing, Principal Software Engineering Manager, is directly for Halo Studios and states, we are seeking a Principal Engineering Manager to lead the AI Workflow Innovation Team and introduce and to responsibly operationalize tools that accelerate art, animation, narrative, and design workflows, helping creators deliver high-quality content while maintaining full creative control. So the good news is they are claiming that creators will maintain full creative control while using AI tools. I also found some LinkedIn profiles of current Halo Studios employees that indicates they are using generative AI. Director Daniel Price is part of a team that is responsible for software engineering and development operations, which includes enabling cutting-edge development by supporting AI-driven automation. Senior producer Alvin Nelson acquired a generative AI for project management certificate in February. Senior UI technical artist Braden League acquired a generative AI with large language models certificate in April 2024. Lastly, people manager and product owner Susan Bunch acquired a Career Essentials in Generative AI certificate from Microsoft in February 2024. Here's the strongest piece of evidence that I have. I spoke to a...
I mean, all that's pretty clear. It's like they literally are saying we get it, like they're getting all the certificates, they're doing training in the back end for it. It's pretty clear to me, but what else is this? He says this is even more significant.
Legitimate known source who worked directly with Halo Studios. They contacted me to defend my report about generative AI being used for development and sent screenshots that show developers experimenting with generative AI on older Halo models and assets, and discussing how it can be used for game development. The evidence they sent me was captured between 2023 and the summer of 2024. I can't
At
Okay.
Souljacker17 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, just opened my new Ouya for Christmas. Can't
For the
wait
television?
to play the Halo campaign evolved demo when it comes out.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I want those games on the television, and I think people will use it on the television. Shout out Ouya. Dude, I looked into ordering one through eBay. They're actually kind of like a collector's piece. I don't know. I thought it would be cool to have like on the shelf behind me or something, but I don't know. It's hard to justify spending like $100 on an Ouya, in 2025. But anyway,
share the screenshots because it would allow Halo Studios to figure out who told me, but my source shared the following message for all of you. My peers and I have seen enough in the spaces we directly worked, as well as from other developers, to reasonably conclude that the use of generative AI was, at the very least, seriously entertained for ongoing or future production by staff in senior or production management related positions with an intent to be exploited for studio research and development. It was suggested to us that operating space in Halo is tight, and freedom to expand areas, such as staffing and new projects, is limited by a rigid, finite amount of time and resources. Perhaps for multiple reasons, leadership and the studio are in a position with hands tied, and whether by the decision of Halo adjacent leadership or a mandate from even higher above, their situation demands or encourages the use of generative AI as a critical component to their ongoing activities. Whatever the reason, it does not make what we witnessed any less disappointing. Now that we covered all the evidence, I want to ensure that you all understand how AI is being used in game development and the problem it causes. So I spoke to former Halo Studios art director Glenn Israel about how AI can be a helpful tool for game developers and problematic. You may have seen my report about Glenn, who left Halo Studios in October just a few weeks before the campaign Evolved reveal, and posted a message on LinkedIn that indicates he left because of leadership issues. I began my conversation with him by asking how does Halo Studios use AI for developing Halo games, and he responded with, "I'm sorry, I wish I could comment on that, but I just can't. So take that as you will." He then continued with the following paragraph about how AI is beneficial and problematic. I can say that, broadly speaking, no one that is engaged in the act of actually making games in this industry is in favor of generative AI executing creative work. But the issue is a little more nuanced than AI is bad. There's a lot of grunt work that AI can do that's potentially helpful and actually good for games in the long run.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, this is why I think you got to be more specific. Like, a lot of the busy work for, like, say you do a play test for something and then you get all those player feedback responses where they fill out a survey and stuff. You could have like an AI tool crawl through that data, create presentations, and figure out what the common threads were and common problems were very, very quickly compared to the human labor involved with that. My understanding is there's also AI tools for like bug, whatever they call it. Not bug finding, there's an actual term for it, but for basically filtering down and trying to find little problems within some code, like common problems. So there's some cases where there's also plenty of cases where it writes terrible code that's useless, but still, this is why I think you got to be more specific. I think the main point though is that these companies that are investing hundreds of billions of dollars into AI tools, they're not going to stop. Like, it's here to stay. It's more about setting the standard and the expectation, and that creative integrity needs to be maintained, and that AI should not be replacing people. Like, that should be the standard. But that goes against the very point. They're trying to put this in place so that it can replace people. It's just like the story where there were those layoffs at King, the studio that was part of Activision Blizzard King. There were a bunch of layoffs, and they were like level designers or puzzle designers for Candy Crush, and they were laid off after making AI tools that built levels. So they built their own replacement. It's crazy.
Donated $10 through Super Chat. We already use AI in gaming all the time. The trees in Witcher 3 or AC shadows were not individually placed every time. They used AI to place most of the vegetation.
Oh, it stopped reading it. We are in a transition period. Well, and so this is why it's also specificity is important, because I think when most people are discussing AI in games, they don't mean procedural tools. They mean generative AI using like deep learning, machine learning, and generative AI models. That's typically what they're referring to, I think. And that's what they have a problem with. They don't have a problem with procedural generation, even if that's using some machine learning in some cases. But that's why specificity matters.
Expert systems built around scientific knowledge regarding human kinesiology can help add realism between animation keyframes, for example, or common knowledge best practices informing time-intensive but otherwise not challenging coding. It's when AI crosses the line between a tool one uses to make content and an author of that content that it becomes problematic. Glenn also said, it's an industry-wide issue and there are plenty of people in positions of power who aren't actually making games and don't understand the distinction at all.
And I think that's the big problem. Satya Nadella, do you think he gives a crap about creative integrity? Come on. He's a guy that's good at organizing data center manufacturing and building. He's good at distribution of software like the Microsoft suite. That's what he's good at. Do you think he gives a crap about creative integrity in like the arts? No. No. Okay. Like, doesn't give a crap. Doesn't matter to him. So I agree that there's plenty of people in positions of power who aren't actually making the games and don't understand the distinction at all. Absolutely. But those are the people that are putting the mandate and requiring them to use these generative AI tools because they're like, this is the future and we need to be futuristic in our endeavors.
To summarize, AI helps complete a lot of grunt work and can improve games, but it should only be used as a tool by talented developers and not a replacement for them. Also, what Glenn said about leaders in the gaming industry is incredibly concerning because it indicates that many leaders are replacing talented developers with AI to make content. Lastly,
which has literally happened. Do you need the most creative person to make a Candy Crush level that a grandma's gonna be doing in her recliner at 4 a.m? Probably not. I don't make Candy Crush levels, but I can't imagine there's that much heavy lifting. I'm sure most of it is automated at this point just with basic algorithms. But like a lot of people were laid off. I think it was like 100 people were laid off of King. And a lot of them had worked on AI tools to build levels that would eventually replace them, And so, it may start with small things where people may not notice. The problem is when they start laying off writers and they start laying off, the art teams and stuff and replacing them with just generative AI tools. And my problem with it especially is that generative AI is by definition derivative. It is by definition trained on a data set and then it kind of rehashes and mixes and matches things together from those things. Sometimes it can be really good at covering up some of that and making it hard to distinguish what was original and what wasn't. But it's by definition not creating something. It's reworking other things and remashing them into something else. It's why Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive, of all people, had the most refreshing take where he's like, no, AI tools will never create something new and fresh. It won't make GTA 7 because it's not creating anything. It can just create like imitation of GTA 5 or GTA 6, but it's not going to actually create something that groundbreaking. AI is better than ML in terms of, at least the AI will try. ML seems to be unconcerned with even trying. So there's that. What CEO and directors do not understand is engines are specifically designed for one type of game. It's impossible to make an engine for multiple types of games unless you compromise and cut and invent new features that are non-existent. Example, you make an engine for FPS. You cannot use the engine for racing games. You can use the engine for race. Okay, I think that's true for some, but then they also can rework those tools into being used for other things. Just like the original, do you know what the original game that the Rage engine was used for? The Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, the Rage engine that's used for Red Dead 2 and GTA 6 and all those games. Do you know what the original game was that this was used for? Rockstar Games presents Table Tennis. So this is where the GTA engine started. Okay, so just because something started for something else does not mean that it can't be used for other things. Certainly, but anyway, let's wrap this up. It's almost over.
Rolling Stone magazine questioned Halo Studios about my report that claims they are using AI to develop games. Shout out to the author, Alyssa Mercant, for reaching out to me and asking Halo Studios. When pressed to confirm or deny if anything players would see or hear in Campaign Evolved was made with generative AI, game director Greg Herman said, "It's a tool in a toolbox." This is an indirect way of saying yes without revealing specifics, and somewhat confirms my report. If they were only
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to be like, it's a tool.
Donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
The argument that I is derivative assumes I won't change in the future. I feel like people can't see the potential in the future, which is the point of investing. It's a
future-based economic choice. Absolutely, absolutely. I think also, so the point about like generative AI being derivative, it assumes it won't change in the future. How these tools are currently built is that they are trained on data sets. They don't actually logic or reason. That's not how they work. They can give the illusion of logic or reason or choice, but they're not actually doing that. That will take a different strategy and like entirely. Like what modern generative AI tools are effectively doing is using neural nets to make predictions and try and present what it thinks you want to see based off of the input. And some other factors, like, you know, with generative AI images, you can set like chaos parameters or different parameters for style or whatever. But ultimately, it's just trying to fill in the blank based on what it thinks you want to see based on the prompt. And so it's not truly producing something. So if we get to the point where generative AI can actually produce something, then yeah, that's basically a different tool. But the ones that are being refined right now just don't work that way, you know? But anyway.
Only using generative AI to improve workflows and not to create in-game content, they would have just said so. Alright, that concludes the report. Based on the evidence, I believe Halo Studios has been and is increasing their use of AI for developing new Halo games. Also, I hope this report helped you understand how AI is being used in the gaming industry and the issues it causes. Make sure to leave a comment about your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next video and first official live stream.
Sweet. Well done to Rebs Gaming. Great report. Again, go over, subscribe, hit the like button. Well done, well sourced and researched. But I think that it's pretty clear at this point that Halo, probably Gears, maybe even games like, well, not maybe, games like Forza, those will use it. Maybe games like Fable will use generative AI stuff. And it's just going to be, the new norm, at least from them. I think there will be some studios where their big claim to fame is that they don't use any generative AI, and that's going to be like a selling point for some people, certainly. But I think all of the big players are going to be using it in their repertoire. And probably realistically, what's going to happen to normalize it fully is that companies like Epic are going to just build in AI tools into the engine and then be like, it's a tool. You can choose when to use it. You can choose it. But then every game made with Unreal Engine will have the AI generated content box checked by default because the tool uses generative AI for different things. And I think that's just going to be how they normalize it. I think in 5 years, there's going to be relatively little discussion about generative AI because I think everybody will just be kind of numb to it. And we'll be able to make fun of it, and we'll be able to tell, like, this game's script was written by AI. I can tell. And we'll make fun of it and mock it, but I think that's going to be the new frontier. Like, they'll fire the people who wrote Saints Row Reboot, and instead we'll just get super generic AI written scripts, which maybe is an improvement, because I'll be real, the Saints Row script, I don't think AI would even write something that terrible. so maybe it actually ends up being better in some cases, but I think that this realistically is just going to be the new normal, because I think the ultimate deciding factor is whether people buy it and use it and like reward it with money, and I think they're going to continue to do that. Oh, hello, my queen, my flame, my muse. She brought me a coffee. Thank you. Can you see that? She didn't even rehearse that. She just knows how to do that dance. How crazy is that? Oh, she went to school. She has a degree. There you go. Love you. Pog wife in chat. Dutch Bros. No, this is human being. Human being. I'm a human being. Yes. Yes, it is. Tall. Yeah. Yeah. That's a handsome woman. You're damn right. Anyway, going back to this. Yeah. Halo Studios. They're using AI throughout the entire thing, it seems. And it's Jover. I would expect that when we see Gears, all of that, it's going to use it. And they're just basically going to dare you. Okay, you don't like it? Don't play it. But you like Halo. You like Gears. You're going to play it anyway, aren't you? And that's how they're going to push it. So, buckle up, buckaroo. Well done, Rebs Gaming. Glad to see you're doing well, and I hope to see more reports in the future. He took my thing.